Hi, everybody. My camera's not on. For some reason, my computer only wants to show my back camera. And while my floor is beautiful, I kind of think I look better than the floor. So you guys aren't going to see my face. Welcome, everybody. I'm Christine Martin. I am the Partner Alliance Manager for Acumatica for Phocas Software. Today, we're going to talk about data analytics, financial reporting, budgeting and forecasting, but in a modern way. So we've talked with people, we've done some research about how long people spend doing financial reporting, how they do budgeting, and what we've heard, and here's a great quote about people are spending 18 hours a month updating spreadsheets. Guys, I'm an accountant. I love a spreadsheet, but when there's errors and you have to update them all the time, it really is a pain. And here's the pain part of it, right? 90% of spreadsheets contain some type of error. So imagine your budgets, right? Anybody that's from accounting knows that most people do budgets in Excel. And the spreadsheets and those calculations that are out there, when you have one error, it kind of has this trickle-down effect. So what we're going to show you is going to help with things like that. So Phocas, what Phocas originally started out as was data intelligence, a BI tool that can help you make decisions faster for your business. And it really gives you this total view of your business, but I call it unemotional data, if you will. No one can change the numbers in Phocas. They are what they are. They come from whatever source, whether that's Acumatica, an Excel spreadsheet, your payroll system. It all converges into Phocas to give you this single view of your data, of your business, and it really helps you make those decisions quicker. You spend less time waiting on IT to get you those reports. And really, it allows you to follow your train of thought to get to the details to help you make decisions. We've got a customer that said that Phocas was so important to them, they have a seat at their boardroom for Phocas. So while they're in a board meeting, somebody starts asking questions, rather than picking up the phone and waiting on somebody to answer or going to get somebody to bring them into the boardroom, they simply open up a computer, open up Phocas, and they get their unemotional answer to make their decisions quicker. So what does that look like here at Phocas? So we start with our base, and that's the analytics piece of things. This is what allows you to take action. This data sits in the Phocas analytics databases. Everything starts in a database, and we're going to build a cake from there, if you will. So within the analytics, you can visualize your data. You can drill down to the underlying transactions. You can even create some reports on your own. And because we have all of this data, our customer said, hey, why can't we do financial statements from your tool? So 2 years ago, we created Phocas financial statements that's pulling all of that transactional information from your ERP or even multiple ERPs, even statistical information, and bringing it into Phocas and allowing you to create custom financial statements. So we give you a base set of financial statements, but you can easily customize your financial statement. So maybe you're owned by a private equity firm that has a specific format they want to see financial statements in. You can create that format for that PE firm, but maybe your top line managers have a different form of financial statements that they want to see. You can create a secondary financial statement. Granted, they all have the same bottom line, but Phocas gives you the ability to customize what those financial statements look like and then share them out with people and limit who has access to data within those financial statements. And then our customers came back to us and said, hey, you've got all of this information, all of our financial statements. We'd really like to be able to do budgeting and forecasting within your tool as well. So earlier this year, we rolled out our Phocas budgeting and forecasting tool. And all of these things together really build a single platform that allows you to, again, with unemotional data, do your analysis, create custom financial statements, get down to the details from those financial statements, and create budgets based on actual data, and use drivers, have a workflow within budgeting and forecasting, all within a single place. So what does this look like? So again, think about the analysis piece and these databases, and I'm going to show it to you here in a second. All of this data sits in these databases that allows you to create visualizations. And it allows you also to easily create your own databases. I'm a simple state and local tax person. My first day here at Phocas, my boss said, Christine, create a dashboard, create a database. I live in Northwest Montana, so I decided I was going to create a database that had my weather for the last year and my electric bill for a year. And I was able to, my non-IT technical self, I created a database using our database designer of the relationship between weather and electric bill. And pretty obvious, when the temperature goes down, your electric bill goes up. But it took me about 3 or 4 hours to create that database on my own. So all of this, what does it look like? How does it work? So think at the bottom of data sources. acuMatica. You may buy a company that's not on acuMatica. Maybe they're on QuickBooks. You could bring that QuickBooks data in with your acuMatica data and have a holistic view of this customer this company that you just bought. Maybe you've got an Excel spreadsheet with information that somebody updates, and you want that to come into Phocas as well. You've got unlimited number of sources that you can bring data into Phocas. We've got over 200 pre-built integrations into the Phocas system. So we have this sync tool that takes this source data and pushes it up into the UI. It's these databases that are really the heart and soul of everything. You've got access to Phocas from your computer, from your phone, from a tablet, whatever that may be. But everything comes in from these sources and sits in databases. And really what this does is it gives you company-wide financial planning and analysis and reporting all from a single place. So with that, I spent 10 minutes or so going through that. I want to give you a view into what that looks like on the Phocas side. So here I've logged into Phocas and it takes me to this home page. And there's a few things that I want to point out to you. One, Phocas allows you to create alerts. And those alerts sit at the top of this home page, if you will. And you can see visually that you've got some customers that are declining, what your current sales are. 6 customers are actually increasing in what it is that they're purchasing from you. If there's reports that you have created that you know you're going to use frequently, if there's a dashboard that you go back to frequently, or even a database that you go to frequently, you can actually bookmark those. So you won't have to look through the list of databases that you may have. I could narrow it down and say, just show me these databases. So remember, the database is really what drives everything. And I'm going to take you into the sales and purchasing database. So remember, this is a way for you to follow your train of thought. And I'm going to change the period that I look at. And I want to look at all of my sales for 2020. And I can say, gosh, I wonder which warehouse has the most sales associated to it. And it looks like our wholesale warehouse really does a majority of it. So let's drill down into this one a little bit more. So when I highlight it, I click Phocas. Everything that I see from now on will relate to this one specific warehouse. Well, what kind of products are being sold out of here? Well, it looks like finished goods are the big ones. So again, I'm going to focus on this. And then let's look at our customers. And keep in mind, I can resort everything that's in here. I click on the column heading and it resorts things. But let's go back and look at our top 3 customers. So one, I can focus in on those and take everybody else out. I want to spend some time looking at what's going on with these top 3 customers. One of the things that we've done in Phocas is give you the ability to link into acuMatica. So I can see what those sales look like here on the Phocas side, but I really want to dig into what's going on acuMatica. Remember, this data from acuMatica is what's coming into Phocas, but we're giving you a link back into acuMatica. I can't make the changes in Phocas. Remember, it's data that cannot be changed. You cannot fat finger something. It is unemotional data. So from within Phocas, I can view those customer records within acuMatica as well. But you'll notice I've got another option here, is I can go to a customer scorecard. This is a dashboard that we've created. Imagine one of your sales guys sitting in the parking lot, getting ready to go see Jebby Computers. He can see what's going on with this customer. The profits are down on this customer. The sales are down on this customer. I can see where that customer is compared to all of my other customers. These tools right in his hand, sitting in his car in the parking lot of his customer. And then he can go to the next customer and do the exact same thing. So these dashboards do give me the ability to drill down into those details as well. So remember, this is the foundation of everything. All of this data sits in databases, and that's what allows us to do this analysis. But it also allows us to do financial statements. So all of this general ledger transaction information is coming into a financial statement database, and we have standard financial statements, a profit and loss, a balance sheet, a cash flow, trial balance, etc. All of this data from whatever source. Again, you could have a company that you bought that's on QuickBooks, that's on Epicor. You can have it all centralized into one place so that you're not having to export information from all of these places and then combine them together in a spreadsheet. So here is my profit and loss for the rolling 12 months. And I've got things that I can see on here. I can see my budget. I can see previous year. But one of the things that we've also added is the ability to visualize this information from the financial statement. And maybe I don't want to see it in blue. I really want this to be contrasted. So this is my sales over the rolling 12 months. And this is great that I can see it. I want to get back to it. This is going to be really helpful to a dashboard. I can add this to a dashboard as well from here. So I've got the ability to do visualizations from a financial statement. And we've got this, it's called nesting, if you will. So I can see this financial statement at a really high level. But I know that I have groups, divisions, legal entities that I want to see those things out here as well. So I can drag group up to this level, and it's going to recreate this financial statement, but then it allows me to look at the sales, not just at a high level, but I can look at it by group. So I can now see, here's my dollar values by group. And when I click that plus sign, it opens it up and allows me to see all of those legal entities within that group, or those sales accounts, those general ledger accounts from within that group as well. So that's on the analysis side. But you know what? This base financial statement is great, but what if I want to change it? As long as you have the right login credentials and the security, you can come out here and create your own profit and loss, your own balance sheet. You can clone one that's out there. But one of the things that we've also allowed people to do is to map your GL accounts to categories. every ERP system has that association of a GL account to a category, and those can be mapped and come over from Acumatica. But I also have the ability to add subgroups or subcategories, if you will. If there's another way for me to slice and dice this data, I want to be able to do that as well. So maybe you've got a sales GL account, 3 sales GL accounts that are broken down by territory. You can create those as well. Creating a custom financial statement, we've made it quite easy. You click the green sign, the green plus sign, and then you can add a space. And maybe I want a space that's in between net profit and current liabilities. Maybe I want to add a calculation here. And this is my current ratio. I can easily, it's almost got that Excel feel, if you will. I want to create a ratio that says divide current assets by current liabilities and make this number a percentage. You do have the ability to bring in statistical streams as well. So maybe you want to be able to see revenue by customer, by legal entity. You can bring in that customer revenue account and employee count so that you can see sales by employee as well. And clicking that save button, closing it out, that financial statement will then be refreshed. And our button up here says that it's going to refresh itself. It's going to rebuild itself now with that calculation that I just added. So you can create multiple financial statements, rename them. Again, they all have the same bottom line, but the look and feel and ratios that you see on them may be different. Imagine having a dashboard with your P&L, with your balance sheet on there, with all of these financial ratios. Your CFO can go to one place and not have to look for spreadsheets. They can all be on a single dashboard for him. And lastly, I want to take you over to budgeting. Remember, we've got all of the data associated to your business, regardless of where it comes from. Most people, me included, when I was in industry, we did all of our budgets within Excel. We had a budget administrator that created multiple Excel spreadsheets, some pretty complex calculations in those. They sent them out, they came back, there was version control, having to track down when you sent something to somebody, whether you've gotten it back, what notes were related to each line. We've simplified this and modernized it by putting it, one, in the cloud, but also creating a workflow. I do have the ability within Phocas budgeting and forecasting to add drivers. So here I've got a sales rep driver, vehicles, subcontractors, and I can use these drivers to make modifications to my budget itself. So if I come out here to Maine, I've created a budget. The data has come in from either starting at 0 or actual data. And once I log in, I can see what tasks have been assigned to me. So if I'm the budget administrator, I can assign a task to my IT manager. When the IT manager logs in, he'll have a visual in the top right-hand corner of his screen of which tasks are associated to him and what it is that he needs to do. I can certainly look down into, let's come out here and look for operating expenses, and maybe I want to look at telephones. I can use my search box to look for telephones, and you'll notice that this one is completed. There's a checkbox next to it. If I'm the budget administrator, I say, oh, you know what? There's something a little bit off with this. Maybe I want to undo it. But I can also see the workflow history in here. One, on June 2nd, we created the baseline. The budget administrator assigned this line of a budget to an IT manager and put a note, hey, don't forget those new hires that you said you were going to get in July. That IT manager finished his budget, submitted it back to Phocas. Phocas accepted it and marked it complete. So you'll see that we've got this workflow that's not in Excel out here within this budgeting tool. Maybe you've got a line for telephones that are mobile, but you want to break that down a little bit further between the cell phones themselves and the plans. And remember that driver that I showed you? We've created a calculation here that says, hey, multiply this count of sales reps to a dollar value for June 2021. And then that's copied forward. So if you'll see, I've got all of these calculations that are driving this cell phone plan line, and they all roll up to a single line called telephones mobile. You can make a change to these dollar values and spread them across evenly to each month. You can spread them just 1 month at a time. You can copy them forward. There's an awful lot of functionality within this budgeting tool. Once the budget has been done, click the publish button, and now that budget is sitting out here in Phocas. You can compare it to your financial statements. You can even create a secondary budget. So I would assume that many of you 2 years ago, when the pandemic hit and everything got shut down, you realized that original budget that we had for 2020 is no longer feasible. I need to rebudget. I don't have 3 months to rebudget. I can take this original budget, clone it, create another budget, reduce the dollar values by a certain percentage, if you will. So when I go back into financial statements, I can look at various budgets. Here I've just got one budget, but I can certainly look at my financial statement where we are actually month to date, year to date, compared to budget 1, post-COVID budget, budget 3, etc. All of that can be done out here. So again, we create this single source of truth for your data analytics, right? I can look at reports. I can subscribe to reports. I can create a dashboard that my executives can see. I can create financial statements easier without having to manage versions. I can create my budget. I can forecast what my sales are going to be, all within a single place, regardless of the data sources. So with that, I know we've got about 5 minutes or so left. I wanted to leave some time for questions. Real quick before we get into questions, Phocas, who are we? Phocas has been around for more than 20 years. We've got an office in Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Orange County, California, and Reno, Nevada. We have over 2,000 customers with over 30,000 people using the Phocas tools. And really what we're working with is 200 plus integrations, giving you a fast return on your investment because people can easily use it and not have to understand technology, if you will. It's literally being able to follow your train of thought. We have a pre-built solution for Acumatica that includes databases, dashboards, and alerts, but you can always add those. You are not limited to the number of dashboards, the number of alerts, the number of favorites, or even databases within the Phocas solution. And if you wanted to learn more and see a little bit more in depth on what Phocas can do for you and your company and how it can save you time and also identify resources for you, please feel free to reach out to me directly, or you can visit phocassoftware.com. While we're waiting to see if anybody's got any questions, a couple stories that I wanted to share with you guys. 2 years ago at our last in-person user event, we had a session that was led by our customers, and they talked about the cool things that they've done with Phocas that weren't in the box. So an Acumatica customer gets something in the box, but these customers design something to use on their own. One of our customers was in distribution, and they brought in CRM data. They also brought in call detail records from company-owned cell phones and from VoIP. And they were able to see how much time their reps spend on the phone with customers that don't buy from them. That one was kind of mind-blowing for me that they were able to see that. And they built that on their own. We have another customer that realized that they were spending $100,000 a year on recruiting fees, that they had such a high turnover of employees. They made all their employees take a personality profile test. They anonymized the employee name, but they brought all of that data into Phocas, and they were able to see which personality types fit well in each department. So as they were looking to hire people, they were requiring people to take these personality profile tests because they knew which personality fit well in each department. But it also helped their managers understand how to manage people with different personality types, which to me was absolutely positively brilliant. We've got another customer that is in acquisition mode right now. They've bought 2 companies this year alone, with one more planned for the end of the year. And as part of their acquisition and their due diligence, they actually use Phocas for that. They have their prospective company provide them data. They import that data into Phocas, and they look at financial statements and their metrics that they use internally for their own company. And that's how they decide whether or not they are going to acquire a company, is by using the Phocas tool to bring in data from those companies. And something to think about is, if you are new to Acumatica and you've got historical data still sitting out there in your legacy system, rather than going back and forth between Acumatica and the ERP that you came from, do a one-time load of historical data from that legacy site. And then it gives you all of your information in one place without having to export data from 2 sides. So with that, we have 3 minutes left. Nicole, any questions?
It doesn't look like it. Anyone have any last minute questions for us?
No. Well, thank you all for spending the last 30 minutes or so with us and learning a little bit about Phocas Analytics, Phocas Financial Statements, and Phocas Budgeting and Forecasting. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of acuCONNECT, and I look forward to talking with you again soon.
Thanks, everyone.